If you're thinking about doing a 7-day fast, you'll want to make sure you watch this video because today we're covering the top 10 lessons I learned from doing a week-long fast. Lesson number 1, set yourself up for success beforehand. On your last day of eating before jumping into your fast, make sure you're setting yourself up for success by a pretty much keto type of diet. What this is going to do is keep your blood sugar levels low so you don't wake up on day 1 already fighting hunger pangs. It pretty much primes your body to want to burn fat instead of just crave sugar, and you'll be able to get into ketosis quicker, which will pretty much eliminate hunger altogether and make fasting that much easier. Now, if you already started your fast and didn't set yourself up for success beforehand, don't take this as an excuse to start over. I know the mind games you play with yourself if you're only on day 1 or day 2 of a 7-day fast. Just keep in mind for next time, since you've most likely already powered through the first 36 hours, which will always be the toughest part if you had carbs, right before starting. Now, full transparency, I had spaghetti and garlic bread for dinner before I jumped into my fast, and I survived, so you will too if you weren't perfect. But like I said, just keep it in mind for next time. Lesson number 2, do it with a partner or a small group that you trust. During your fast, there is inevitably going to come a time where you start negotiating with yourself. Oh, I went 5 days, that's good enough. I can have bone broth. Maybe I'll just have a hard-boiled egg. That way I'm still keto and it's only like 60 calories. So on and so forth. In order to not only drastically improve your odds of success, doing the fast with a partner or a small group makes the experience funner and a lot more enjoyable. Otherwise, you just end up talking everyone's ear off about your 7-day fast, and not only are they going to say you're crazy and is that even healthy? You're just starving yourself. They don't get it. Besides that, they're going to actively try to make you fail just so you stop talking their ear off about it. Now, this is important. If you don't have anybody in your life who would commit to do this with you, hit the link in the description for a chance to join our fasting community, because support really is important for this type of thing. Lesson number 3, find some good electrolytes. You'll definitely need some electrolytes to stay healthy and keep feeling good throughout the week. Instead of getting tasteless, boring electrolytes that taste like ocean water, find some good tasting electrolytes that you actually look forward to throughout the day. I use a brand called Ultima, but I tried a new kind of company called Axe and Sledge electrolytes this last time. I think it was kiwi strawberry was the flavor that I had, and it definitely made the whole experience much better physically and even mentally, that it tasted really good. Lesson number 4, stay busy in the evenings. Now, if you're like me or the hundreds of clients I've worked with over the years, after work and around dinner time is always the most challenging time to fast because you're not as busy and your willpower is low. For those reasons, go to the gym, go see family and friends at their house, schedule a massage, take the dog on a walk, or do whatever you have to do to fill the time so you're not just sitting around on the couch watching fast food commercials as the second hand slowly ticks by on the clock next to you. Lesson number 5, use sleeping aids. A lot of people don't realize that around 30% of our daily energy expenditure is used digesting food, which means that when you're fasting, you have a lot of extra energy, and sometimes that can make it difficult to get to sleep or stay asleep, especially in the back half of the week. That's why you should find some sleeping aids that are going to help you get a good night's sleep so your body can recover and so you can sleep away as much of this week-long fast as you possibly can. About an hour before bed, I would make a cup of, it's called Sleepy Time tea, extra strength, that would help wind me down, as well as a sleeping aid that I got from $1 Million Body Labs called Complete Restore. Now, if you want to check out either of those, I'll put a couple links in the comments or in the description below. Lesson number 6, don't overtrain in the gym. If you're like me, you're used to going to the gym and giving it your all. Even when you go in with the intention of going to, 60 to 70% of your full potential, you end up pushing it, almost taking every rep and set to failure. While you can still and definitely should work out during your fast, make sure that you are really only going about 70 to 80% of intensity tops, especially later on in the fast, since you aren't able to refuel your body with food afterwards. Not to mention around day 5 and 6, it's not uncommon to get a little bit dizzy and lightheaded when you stand up too fast. And you'll be much better off when that happens if you don't have 400 pounds strapped to your back, or you're not lifting 150 pounds over your head when you get all dizzy and feel like passing out. Lesson number 7, find things to look forward to throughout the week. When you're only a day or two into a week-long fast, it can seem like an endless journey to the finish line. What I found helpful was finding something to look forward to every night so I could break up the week into smaller, more digestible segments. For example, on Tuesday, a new episode of the show I like would come out. On Wednesday, I scheduled a massage for myself to look forward to. On Thursday, my favorite podcast dropped and I got to check that out, so on and so forth. Lesson number 8, and this is a big one. It's all mental. The mind is a very funny thing, and you'll begin to doubt yourself, negotiate with yourself, ask yourself why you thought you could do this in the first place, convince yourself this is stupid and you should just stop early, so on and so forth. Take it from me, it's just a trick. If you do end up breaking early, something that I did on my first attempt last year at a 7-day fast, the food only tastes good for a couple seconds, and then that disappointment stays with you until you do end up finishing what you set out to do. Instead, be strong, remember why you decided to commit to this, and realize that any food you're craving is yours as soon as you hit the finish line and you complete what you set out to do. The crazy thing is, once you are able to eat anything you want again, most of the things that you were craving have actually already lost their appeal as soon as you eat for the first time and you're full. So keep your chin up and remember, you are a badass and you're not gonna settle for anything less than 7 days. Lesson number 9, prime your system before slamming a bunch of food. On day 7, around 8 hours before you intend to break, I'd recommend having a couple of cups of bone broth. This will gently wake up your stomach in a way that won't leave you feeling terrible and allow you to ease into step number 2 of easing back into being able to digest real food, which is cooking up some steamed vegetables. I used Brussels sprouts with some seasoning, but really any green leafy vegetables will do. I had my bone broth about 8 hours before I broke, and then I started having some steamed vegetables about 3 or 4 hours after that, slowly and easing my way into more and more volume before I decided to eat a real meal. So don't gorge yourself, just eat a reasonable amount that will allow the acid around your stomach to work before getting in your first big meal later on. And finally, lesson number 10, avoid overeating after you break. If you go about it the wrong way, a long fast like this can easily lead to overeating once it's over. I've found that especially when I eat a lot of carbs after a long fast, my blood sugar spikes dramatically, then crashes a few hours later, causing me to want to get into anything and everything. For that reason, I recommend easing back into your regular or even your desired eating patterns, but taking a day or 2 or 3 to stay pretty much keto, higher fat, moderate protein, lower to no carbs, allowing your body to keep burning fat for fuel without the massive swings in sugar. That wraps it up for my top 10 tips while diving into your first 7-day fast. And if you've committed to a 7-day fast, congratulations. I know you'll do great. If you got anything from these tips whatsoever, it really helps me out if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or concerns, drop them in the comments below. I'll make sure to get back to you. And if you want any one-on-one help with your fasting, fat loss, or fitness goals, hit the link below and I'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.